Hello and welcome to Learn English with Technology podcast series, episode 36. We're diving deep today into how you can actually use ChatGPT to practice your English conversation skills.
Yeah, it's really amazing how AI can kind of be like your personalized English tutor,
Yeah.
available like anytime you want to practice.
You told us that you're really trying to become more confident speaking English
Mm.
and that you've tried lots of different apps and even some textbooks, but you're looking for something that's more interactive and a little bit more personalized.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's really common to feel stuck with those more traditional methods, and it can be really hard to find consistent speaking partners or to get over that initial fear of making mistakes.
That's true. That's where ChatGPT comes in, though. It's not just another app with a bunch of pre-recorded lessons. It's actual AI that you can have a conversation with.
Exactly. ChatGPT is like having a conversation partner who's always available to practice with. And you can tailor it to fit your specific needs and goals, whether that's for travel or just casual conversation or even professional settings. Or honestly, even just to build up your overall fluency.
Yeah, that's one thing that really impressed me about ChatGPT. It's not just about you memorizing phrases. It's about you actually learning how to use the language in different contexts.
Exactly. And that's like a key insight, I think, because true fluency comes from being able to adapt your language to different situations. And that's really where ChatGPT shines.
Yeah, I totally agree. I remember feeling so nervous trying to speak English with native speakers. But with ChatGPT, there's like no pressure to be perfect. You can just make mistakes, experiment, and learn at your own pace.
Exactly. It's like a judgment-free space where you can practice and build up your confidence before you take those skills out into the real world.
So how does ChatGPT actually work its magic? I mean, how is it actually different from just like talking to a chatbot or using a language learning app?
Well, you see, traditional chatbots usually follow a set script with limited responses. But ChatGPT, on the other hand, uses a massive amount of data to understand and generate human-like text, which means it can respond to your questions and comments in a much more dynamic and nuanced way.
So it's not just giving you pre-programmed answers. It's like actually understanding what you're saying and coming up with its own responses.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so powerful for language learning, because it can adapt to your level and provide you with the specific challenges and support that you need to progress.
Okay, cool. So let's say I'm convinced and I want to give ChatGPT a try. What are the first steps to like getting started and making the most of it?
Well, the first step is to be crystal clear about your goals. Like, what do you want to achieve with your English practice? Do you want to travel to an English-speaking country? Or prepare for a job interview? Or just be able to have more casual conversations?
Yeah, defining your goals is so important because it helps you tailor your practice and focus on the specific skills and vocabulary that you need.
Absolutely. And once you've identified your goals, you can actually tell ChatGPT what you're working on, and it will adapt its responses accordingly.
Oh, wow. So like if I told ChatGPT I was preparing for a trip to London, it might focus on like travel-related vocabulary and situations.
That's right. It might even give you tips on local customs or phrases that you wouldn't find in a textbook.
That's amazing. I love how it goes beyond just the language itself
Yeah.
and provides you with cultural insights as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about making the learning experience more immersive and relevant to your personal goals.
Okay, so we've set our goals now. How do we actually start having conversations with ChatGPT? And like, what are some tips for making the most of those interactions?
Well, one of the great things about ChatGPT is that it's incredibly user-friendly. You can access it through a website or even through apps on your phone.
So it's really accessible no matter what device you're using.
Exactly. And once you're in the interface, you can simply start typing or speaking your questions and comments, just like you would in a regular conversation.
Oh, that's super easy. So there's really no barrier to entry. Anyone can just jump in and start practicing.
Exactly. And here's a pro tip. You can actually adjust the personality of ChatGPT to match your learning style.
Wait, really? So how does that work?
You can tell ChatGPT something like, I want you to act like a friendly tutor. Or you can say, pretend you're a potential employer interviewing me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it can really adapt to different roles and scenarios. That's incredible.
And the best part is that it will provide feedback on your language use no matter what personality you choose.
So it's still helping me learn and improve, even when we're having a more casual or like a role-playing type of conversation.
Exactly. It's like having a built-in coach who's always observing and offering suggestions for improvement.
Oh, that's fantastic. So it sounds like ChatGPT is like incredibly adaptable and versatile, no matter what your goals or learning style are.
Absolutely. And as we dive deeper into this episode, we'll explore how ChatGPT can be used at different levels of English proficiency, from beginners to advanced learners.
Yeah, that's what I'm excited to hear about. Because I know our listeners are at various stages in their English journey. So let's break it down and see how ChatGPT can help each individual reach their full potential.
Sounds good. Let's start with beginners and see how ChatGPT can provide a supportive and engaging environment for those just starting out.
Okay, cool. So let's imagine our listener is a beginner who's just starting to learn English. What are some ways that they can use ChatGPT effectively to build their confidence and foundational skills?
But for beginners, it's all about building confidence and getting comfortable with the basics of the language. And ChatGPT is perfect for that because it provides a safe and judgment-free space to practice.
Yeah, that's true. Remember how you mentioned feeling nervous talking to native speakers?
Yeah.
Well, ChatGPT takes that pressure off, so you can focus on actually learning.
Exactly. And for beginners, I would recommend starting with simple conversation prompts like, tell me about your day, or what are your hobbies?
Yeah, those are great starting points because they allow beginners to practice basic sentence structures and vocabulary.
Exactly. And another helpful tip is to use the voice-to-text feature if available. This allows beginners to get comfortable speaking aloud and improve their pronunciation.
That's a great idea because sometimes it's easier to speak than to type, especially when you're just starting out.
Yeah. And ChatGPT can provide feedback on your pronunciation as well, which is invaluable for beginners who are still developing their speaking skills.
So even at this early stage, ChatGPT is acting as like a personalized coach, helping learners identify areas for improvement.
Right. And as beginners progress, they can start to introduce more complex grammar and vocabulary into their conversations with ChatGPT.
So it's like a gradual process where they
Yeah,
can build on their skills step by step.
exactly. And ChatGPT will be there every step of the way, providing support, encouragement, and personalized feedback.
This is sounding more and more like the perfect language learning companion.
It really is. And we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore when it comes to using ChatGPT for English practice.
Yeah, I can't wait to dive deeper and see what other tips and strategies we can uncover.
Now that we've kind of seen how ChatGPT can benefit beginners, let's move on to intermediate learners who are ready to take their skills to the next level.
Okay, cool. So our listener has mastered the basics. They can have simple conversations, introduce themselves, talk about their daily routine. What's next for them with ChatGPT?
So this is where ChatGPT really starts to shine for intermediate learners because it allows them to practice more complex grammar, vocabulary, and real-life situations.
Yeah, I remember when I was at this level, I really struggled with tenses. And using more descriptive language, it felt like I was always stuck using the same basic words.
Yeah, I hear that a lot from intermediate learners. They hit a plateau where they feel like they're not making as much progress.
But ChatGPT can help them break through that plateau by providing personalized challenges and feedback.
Exactly. It can push them to expand their vocabulary, use different grammatical structures, and even work on their pronunciation and intonation.
So how can intermediate learners start incorporating these challenges into their ChatGPT practice?
Well, one way is to start using ChatGPT for role-playing different scenarios. Like, for example, they could practice ordering food at a restaurant, asking for directions, or even having a job interview.
Oh, that's brilliant because it forces them to think on their feet and use the language in a more spontaneous way.
And ChatGPT can provide feedback on their performance, letting them know if they use the right vocabulary, grammar, and tone of voice.
It's like having a personal acting coach who's also a language expert.
Right. And another way to challenge intermediate learners is to encourage them to move beyond simple descriptions and start using more vivid language.
So instead of just saying the food was good, they could say the food was absolutely delicious, the flavors were so rich and complex.
Exactly. It's about pushing them to use more descriptive adjectives, adverbs, and even metaphors and similes to make their language more engaging and interesting.
And ChatGPT can help them with this by suggesting synonyms, antonyms, and alternative ways to express their ideas.
It's like having a built-in thesaurus and style guide all rolled into one.
This is really making me see ChatGPT as more than just a language learning tool. It's like a creative writing partner as well.
I agree. It can really help learners develop their overall communication skills, not just their English proficiency.
So what about advanced learners? Where does ChatGPT fit into their learning journey?
So advanced learners can also benefit greatly from ChatGPT. It can help them refine their nuances, master idiomatic expressions, and even engage in complex discussions and debates.
Oh, wow. So it's not just for beginners and intermediate learners. It's truly a tool for all levels.
Absolutely. And for advanced learners, I would recommend using ChatGPT to explore more abstract topics and engage in deeper conversations.
Instead of talking about their daily routine, they could discuss current events, ethical dilemmas, or even philosophical concepts.
Exactly. These types of discussions challenge advanced learners to use sophisticated vocabulary, complex grammatical structures, and even rhetorical devices to express their ideas effectively.
It's like having a personal debate partner who can keep up with their intellectual curiosity and challenge them to think critically in English.
Right, and another way to challenge advanced learners is to encourage them to use idiomatic expressions and phrasal verbs, which are essential for sounding more natural and fluent.
Yeah, I remember when I first started learning English, idiomatic expressions were so confusing it felt like everyone was speaking in code.
Yeah, they can be tricky, but ChatGPT can be a valuable resource for understanding and practicing these expressions.
So I could ask ChatGPT to explain the meaning of kick the bucket or hit the road, and it would give me examples of how to use them in context.
Exactly. And it can even generate sentences using different idioms and phrasal verbs, so you can see how they're used in a variety of situations.
It's so helpful because textbooks often just list idioms and phrasal verbs without really explaining how to use them in natural conversation.
Yeah, and ChatGPT can also help advanced learners work on their pronunciation and intonation, especially for those tricky sounds that are unique to English.
So if I'm having trouble with the th sound, I could ask ChatGPT to give me some practice words and phrases.
That's right, and it can even provide feedback on your pronunciation, letting you know if you're getting it right or if you need to make any adjustments.
This is really amazing. It's like having a personal speech therapist right in your pocket.
I know, it's incredible how much ChatGPT can do.
Okay, so we've talked about how ChatGPT can be used at different levels,
Yeah.
but are there any general tips or strategies that apply to everyone no matter their proficiency?
Yes, absolutely. One of the most important things is to be consistent with your practice. Even short daily sessions with ChatGPT can make a huge difference in your progress.
Yeah, it's like working out a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Exactly. And another important tip is to set realistic goals. Don't expect to become fluent overnight. It's a journey that takes time and dedication.
It's so easy to get discouraged if you set unrealistic expectations.
That's why it's crucial to break down your goals into smaller, manageable steps and celebrate your progress along the way.
And don't be afraid to experiment with different features and settings within ChatGPT.
That's a great point because there are so many ways to customize the experience to fit your individual needs and preferences.
Yeah, you can adjust the formality of language, the speed of the responses, and even the topics of conversation.
Exactly. So don't be afraid to play around with it and see what works best for you.
And most importantly, have fun with it. Language learning should be enjoyable, not a chore.
That's so true because when you're enjoying yourself, you're more likely to stay motivated and keep practicing.
And ChatGPT can definitely make language learning more fun and engaging. It's like having a conversation partner who's always up for a challenge and who never gets tired of talking.
I couldn't agree more.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this episode, from understanding how ChatGPT works to exploring its applications at different levels and discussing general tips for success.
But there's still so much more to uncover about this powerful language learning tool.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear your final thoughts and insights in the next part of our deep dive. We've explored how ChatGPT can help English learners at all levels, but I'm curious to hear your overall thoughts on the future of AI and language learning.
That's a great question. And I think we're only just scratching the surface of what's possible with AI-powered language learning tools like ChatGPT.
It's pretty mind-blowing to think about how technology is transforming the way we learn and access information.
Absolutely. And I believe that AI has the potential to make language learning more accessible, personalized, and effective than ever before.
Yeah, I remember when I first started learning English, it felt like such a daunting task. Like I had to rely on textbooks and language classes and finding conversation partners, which wasn't always easy.
Yeah, for sure. Those traditional methods definitely have their limitations. They can be time-consuming, expensive, and sometimes even intimidating, especially for those who are shy or afraid of making mistakes.
Right, but with AI tools like ChatGPT, those barriers are starting to crumble.
Exactly, because ChatGPT is available 24/7, it's affordable, and it provides a judgment-free environment to practice and make mistakes without feeling self-conscious.
And it can adapt to each learner's individual needs and goals, providing personalized feedback and challenges that push them to improve.
It's like having a personal tutor and conversation partner all rolled into one.
So do you believe that AI will eventually replace traditional language learning methods?
I don't necessarily think it will replace them entirely, but I do believe it will significantly enhance and transform the way we learn languages.
So it'll become more of like a blended approach where AI kind of complements traditional methods.
Exactly, because AI can handle the repetitive tasks like grammar drills and vocabulary practice, freeing up human teachers to focus on more nuanced aspects of language learning like cultural immersion and communication strategies.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's like having the best of both worlds, like the efficiency and personalization of AI combined with the human touch and expertise of a teacher.
And as AI technology continues to evolve, I believe we'll see even more innovative and immersive language learning experiences emerge.
That's really exciting. I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Me too. And I encourage all of our listeners to embrace these new tools and explore the possibilities they offer.
It's truly an exciting time to be learning English with technology at our fingertips.
Absolutely. And we hope that this deep dive has provided you with valuable insights and inspiration to continue your language learning journey.
We've covered a lot of ground in this episode, from understanding the power of ChatGPT to exploring its applications at different levels and discussing the future of AI in language learning.
We encourage you to keep practicing, experimenting, and exploring all that ChatGPT has to offer.
And if you're enjoying this podcast series, please don't forget to subscribe, leave us a like, share it with your friends, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Thank you for joining us, and until next time, happy learning.